Hello, everybody. Welcome to Western Cinema Presents Silverado. It's our second time playing Silverado. Uh, it is a film from 1985. Uh, Four unlikely heroes attempt to reclaim a helpless town from a corrupt sheriff and his mercenaries in a classic
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, and with me, of course, as always, deleted scenes. How you doing, deleted scenes?
Fair to partly cloudy. Doing very well. I'd like to say hello to everyone who is joining us in the chat. And this one has a bit of history on it here on Western Cinema Presents. When we first watched this movie previously, which was back in November of 2021, that was my first appearance on this program. So it's fun to have another chance to come back and reevaluate this film because I'm not sure I've seen it since. So it's good to sit down and watch it once again.
Yeah, this one's got a
This
star-studded cast.
It does, yeah.
It's directed by Lauren Kasdan. You might recognize that name from writing and directing a few Star Trek or Star Wars, Star Trek, Star Wars. Kevin Kline, Scott Glenn, Kevin Costner, Rosanna Arquette, John Cleese, Brian Dennehy, Danny Glover, and Jeff Goldblum, Linda Hunt, Lynn Weinfeld, Jeff Fahey, so many stars. Ray Baker, Joe Sienica. Yeah, so it's a good one. As much as we would love to show you these here on the YouTube, we are restricted by copyright law, and therefore we cannot show these here on YouTube. And if you're not here for the live presentation, we cannot provide the film on the replay. But if you're here with us in the live presentation, we do have a screening room provided for you if you don't have a physical copy of this film. I highly recommend this film. This is a great action Western film. And if you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. So why don't you guys follow us over to the screening room, and we'll start this film.
I'd like to very quickly say hello to people who have joined us in the chat. Of course, FKHC 2005 was the first. This time is known as Tim. Alistair's Queen Emma. Faithful Blue Wrench channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions, Connie Cleary. And DJ Play Nice.
Oh my God! This ain't happening. This isn't happening. Well,
Hold on, folks. This happens sometimes. So we'll get there.
yeah.
I first saw Silverado in theaters back in the day at a theater that unfortunately no longer is in existence. Many of the theaters I used to go back in the day aren't, sadly, but more about that another time. For those who are wondering, yes, as I said earlier, we have shown this movie before. Back in November of 2021, it was my first appearance on Western Cinema Presents, and we were revisiting the film. Bill's been wanting to do a rewatch of this for quite some time, and obviously I'm a big fan of the film, so I was all for that. And hopefully, if Cosme cooperates with us here, we will be able to
I had a problem with my copy. My copy was it wasn't working for some reason. So we do what we got to do.
at the Columbia Pictures logo. And this film does start out very quietly, no sound, but that changes very, very quickly. And we open with Scott Glenn's character, Emmett. Now, that brand is going to become very important later. At first, he does not know who these men are, why they've attacked him. And he's going to find out who and why here before too long.
Yeah.
All right. That's no problem there, Emma. Everybody's fallen asleep in the middle of a live stream at some time or another. I've done it
Yeah.
myself, so
Don't worry about it, Emma.
yeah.
It was nice. It was nice to have you join us.
Yes.
We
I do
welcome
wonder.
all new folks.
I do want to remind everybody once again, if you're just joining us, we are watching Silverado from 1985. We're just a few minutes in. The link to the film is on Cosme. If you have your own physical copy of the film, we're currently at 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Due to YouTube guidelines involving copyright, we can't air the movie live as much as we would like to. This movie is not yet public domain. And we do not want any of these fellows to track us down and shoot us. So we cannot air the film. And but you can follow along with us on Cosme. You can also, like I said, follow along with your own physical copy. I still have my old DVD from back in the day, right here. So you can follow along. Sammit's been right along for some time, and he finds Kevin Kline's character, Payton, out in the desert, basically dying at this point. Now, when I saw this movie the first time, I was actually a little late getting into the theater, so I walked in basically in the middle of the scene. And bless you. And okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. If that continues, I will simply take over your channel. As I intend to take over all YouTube channels one by one. First YouTube in the world. Okay.
Does the volume seem really low to you?
Slightly, but this is a movie that starts off kind of quiet, so.
Funny, I can hear the dogs barking more than I could hear them talking just a
Huh.
while ago.
Yeah, that happens. I've noticed with Cosme on occasion. The sound effects will be a little bit louder in the dialogue. So anyway, we've learned Emmett is just out of Leavenworth. Why he was there, we will find out a little bit later on in the film. Uh, of course, he's been attacked already, so is Peyton. But the guys who jumped Emmett are heading in a different direction than the guys left Peyton to die. So we're talking about two groups of bad guys here. And Peyton is spotted one of them here. This guy was in a lot of movies here in the 80s and 90s here. Uh-huh. This fella here who's playing the cavalry commander, he was, if I recall correctly, he was a country singer of Summer Now. And of course, the introduction of Cobb, played by Brian Dennehy. Even more importantly, where the heck is Emmett? He completely disappears from this sequence. Of course, there's Jeff Fahey. It's Tyree. This was the first movie I'd ever seen him in.
Yeah, that's a movie I've seen him in too.
Yeah. Like, well, hell, we're going to have to get that hat back. Roll credits. Well, hell, you're out of excuses. Let's go. Introduction of Rosanna Arquette. She's part of the wagon train that's also on the way to Silverado. And they're getting ready for a hanging. Brian James, of course, from Blade Runner, among many other movies.
Hello, Suzanne.
And Venomite has joined us as well. introduction of Danny Glover as Mal. One year after Places in the Heart, 2 years before Lethal Weapon. And this movie employed just about every working stuntman in Hollywood. So if you recognize some of these background guys, yeah. Oh, there you go.
Oh, gotcha.
So this then. I like that word much, Carter.
Testing. Oh, can you hear me?
You're breaking up a little bit, but yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Now, believe it or not, this was the first time I ever remember actually seeing John Cleese in a movie. I was aware of Monty Python, but I was quite young at the time and really wasn't familiar with the Monty Python series or any of their films, as I hadn't at that point really seen any of them. So it's kind of like basically my first time seeing him, even though I was aware of him previous. Kind of an interesting character, though. This British little old man in the middle of the Old West. You're kidding. And of course, he's the one they're going to hang. And of course, here we are, Jake, Kevin Costner. And this was the movie that really got him, put him in the public eye. He'd been in other films. He was a supporting character in a movie called Testament that was about the aftermath of nuclear blast. And of course, he was originally meant to be in The Big Chill and had been cut out of the film to where he's just a body at the beginning. The dead one. My hat. You're wearing my hat. Whoops. So now Emmett has to bust both of them out of the jail. If I remember, this kid's the director's son. And hello to Curtis Selby. Thank you for joining us. We are 30 minutes, 40 seconds in Silverado. Cosme link is at the top of the chat. Please join us there. Okay, next slide. You just figured it out. Oh, right. It's like he forgets. Look out. Bill, FYI, you are still muted if you are trying to speak. Now, the point of what's going on in Turley, for anybody maybe doesn't quite get that plot point, is two guys will have a gun duel. One will kill the other, and then they hang the survivor. So, yeah. So pretty much the idea is that if you're going to be in a gunfight, even if you survive, you will not survive. Which is kind of messed up when you think about it, but you kind of get it. Hmm. Whoops. Yeah. Smart move, Sheriff. So our magnificent four, so to speak, is now together for the first time in the film. And of course, here they are. They've come upon the wagon train, and things have not been going well for our group of would-be settlers here. And hail to, again, to FKHC 2005, aka Tim. Looking forward to next Sunday's movie. Yes, so are we. To remind everyone, next week's movie will be Blazing Saddles, the 50th anniversary edition. Watch along, commentary only, as usual. You will need to follow along with us on Cosme with your own physical copy. Blazing Saddles has been a much requested film on this show, and next week we are finally going to give it to you. We just wanted to wait until a special occasion, and once we found out that next week will be the 50th anniversary to release of the film, we decided that was as good a time as any. So next week, Blazing Saddles. He's like, wait, what? Well, okay. Don't say, didn't warn you. Did you? It's a great trailer line there.
Wait, wait, how did I get muted again? Did you mute me?
No, I did not mute you.
Weird. That was weird. I'm talking and there's another good character actor right there.
Yeah. James Gammon, of course, who we've seen previously in Appaloosa.
Good God, I'm looking at the cast and there's there's a lot of cast-ins in here.
Yeah, there is. A couple of
Jonathan
whom we've already
Kasdan,
seen.
Jake Kasdan.
Yeah. And of course, Jake went on to direct a Zero Effect, and John was involved with the solo film. Too close. Guys up there, and this asshole is one of them. Yeah, he's not wrong. Whoops.
And now we'll never get a chance.
Nope. And sadly, it has not changed. And of course, at last, Silverado. 49 minutes, 30 seconds in. And if the fella playing the brother-in-law, the guy playing, as soon as I learn to speak, you get here. The sister's played by Patricia Gall, who's also in The Big Chill, very briefly, but she's in it. Earl Hindeman, who, of course, you might recognize as Wilson from Home Improvement, and Tom Wilson, who was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like we said, this is one of those movies where everybody is somebody, and we're not kidding. Even the small background characters are people who have many credits to their name, if not necessarily at the time, certainly since. Mm. Yeah. Well, maybe don't leave them lying around then.
Free grazers.
And him.
Yeah, you're right. Oh shit.
Well, think of it this way. At least he was longer than he was in Red Dawn. It was Pepe Serna, of course. Like I said, he was in Red Dawn. He's in Buckaroo Banzai. He's in The Rookie with Clint Eastwood. She is to shout out Mapes, the housekeeper. Oh, wait. But that was before. And as with most people, I first saw Linda Hunt in a movie called The Year of Living Dangerously in 1983 with Mel Gibson and Sigourney Weaver, where she actually plays a man. And wound up winning an Oscar.
If somebody comes and puts a link to a different Cosme room, please don't click on it. And don't be posting other links to other Cosme rooms in my room.
Yes, please don't.
Do it again, and you'll be banned from this. No.
Nope.
You're now banned, Zebra. That behavior is not appropriate. We took care of that guy.
Yep.
If you come doing that in my theater, you're gonna get banned. You'll get warned. If you do it again, you're gonna get banned. I agree with you.
Don't
Playboy.
go posting. Don't go posting links unless you've got permission to do so. That's kind of an unwritten rule, folks. Of course, in the previous scene, we just found out that not only is Cobb the owner of the saloon, he is also sheriff.
four guys for one old guy. What a
Yeah.
bunch of cowards.
Bunch of wussies. Yeah. Which is the problem. These guys are not used, to other people shooting back at them. They're used to, saying jump and, how high. Yes, I can't type. Fire me. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, we might have to do that if that continues. No worries, Connie. Enjoy the rest of the show and safe travels.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, Connie.
Yarp. And Kelly is played by Richard Jenkins in a very early role. You might remember him from Cabin in the Woods, among other films.
Yeah, we did Bone Hunt, Don't Tomahawk.
Yes, yeah, he was in Bone Tomahawk. Yeah. Fares a little better in that one.
That one shocked the hell out of us, didn't
it? Yeah, that was. I think that was the first watch for both of us, and yeah, yeah. Bone Tomahawk is a movie that gives 0 Fs. It's a good one. And of course, Jeff Goldblum. Was. This is a good question. That's Peyton starting to realize what he must have looked like, back in his outlaw days. Yeah, good question. And of course, Lynn Whitfield, Desiree, Mal's sister. Now, this is a point in the movie where you start to think maybe there's some scenes on the cutting room floor here, because there's kind of this love triangle between um, Scott Glenn, Rosanna Arquette, and Kevin Kline, but the movie kind of glosses over it, you know. You know, I've always felt like there was a 3-hour version of this movie somewhere.
It probably is.
I wouldn't mind seeing it, to be honest. And of course, here the McKendricks are attacking the settlers here, and you kind of get the idea maybe it's not the first time. Henry Rifle. No, get the two behind me.
Uh, yeah, right, Mark. Jeff
Yeah.
Goldblum plays the perfect douchebag in this.
Ray Baker's McKendrick. Character actor, did a lot of movies and TV. Oh, whoopsie.
Give him the horse, not the saddle. Man.
Well, technically, it is McKendrick's dead guy's saddle, so. One of these days, I'm going to go back, watch this movie again, and see how many times that particular horse changes hands. He's definitely goes through some guys.
I took out $13. Tim, yeah, $13. He's rich in that time.
All right, a question in the chat is have we done to shot Liberty Valance? Uh, I think we did. I know
Yes,
I
we
was
did.
on a show. I did it. We did. Yeah. Okay. That was
Yeah,
us. All right.
yeah.
Okay. Yes, he is. But from what I understand, though, he is actually that fast in real life, at least at the time, anyway. Ugh. Oh,
Yeah. Well, if you figure a horse that big, it's got to weigh over 100 pounds. That's gonna hurt.
I don't want to kill you, and you don't want to be dead.
Wrong choice. They end up walking.
And Cobb loses a deputy.
Guess what else? Other film that's not a western that we probably gonna do a 20-year anniversary for. Shaun of the Dead is 20 anniversaries coming up.
Nice. Have we ever done Outlaw Justice? Who's in it? And I'm not recognizing the title. Yeah. This movie's been fun in games up to this point, and now everything is for keepsies.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings. No, we haven't done that one. But we've been mulling over some titles, so
I'll find it. I'll do it.
yeah, we'll have to find that one. Another film that has Willie Nelson in it that I'd like to do some point down the line is a movie called Once Upon a Texas Train. That brings a lot of the old Western actors back. Add that one to the list. Three guesses, and two of them don't count. We didn't bring up Amanda Weiss before, but of course you remember her from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Nightmare on Elm Street, and the Highlander TV series.
Yeah, that girl was all over the place in the 80s.
Yeah. And of course, this is another part that makes me think something got cut. Now, Slick, Jeff Goldblum's character, he's the sort of guy who's going to play all the angles. And now, what I don't know is how does he go from looking like he's going to defend Payton if Tyree shoots him to suddenly kind of he's definitely on Cobb's side at this point, and like did that mean that he thinks going over to Cobb is the winning move, so to speak, or is he under some sort of threat at this point? Because I don't know. It's another scene that makes me think something got cut out. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want it to sound like I'm hacking on this movie. I'm not. I fucking love this movie. It's one of my favorites. But like I said, I think there's another 30 minutes of this movie lying on the cutting room floor somewhere.
More than likely, you're probably right. Deleted. Studios often say, "No, we need it. We need it this length," and so
yeah, the film, the movie all told is 2 hours and 12 minutes, and that was for the 80s, kind of pushing it lengthwise, Mark Harkness in the Cosme chat is bringing up Once Upon a Time in the West. Yeah, I'd like to do that at some point. Very good film.
Yeah, I believe we've done that one here too. So yeah, we're gonna have to revisit it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me.
I mean, it's been like 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've been doing this for 2 years, 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah. Let me look back at the playlist here. All right. 86. I've done 86 episodes of this show. Wow. But yeah, there are definitely some movies that we did from back in the beginning that we could revisit. We did do Once Upon a Time in the West. We did it 2 years ago. Okay. So, yeah, we could revisit that. Bone Tomahawk is one we could revisit. Sure. Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah, she really was. The blonde gal was really an '80s chick. She was all over in films, small parts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I should have been a little bit clearer on it. You are correct. Mark Harkness in the chat says, remember, though, in the first scene, Goldblum knows Payton is supposed to be Cobb's best buddy. In the second case, Mel's clearly on the outs of the folks in charge. Yeah. Also true. But, the movie doesn't really go overboard to kind of clarify that. Which, I mean, at the same time is good because, they don't spoon feed you information at the same time, which I'm not asking for. So. Not a big deal in the scheme of things.
Yeah, unfortunately, back then, buckets of water ain't gonna when the house is blazing that good. You ain't gonna save it.
Nothing. Everything. What is Jerusalem Balian? Oh, sorry, wrong movie. Wait, this isn't Kingdom of Heaven? I'm out. No. Oh. Yeah, well, whose fault is that? Yeah, oh, poopy. Yeah, that was handy.
When they got shot in the shoulder.
Oh,
Bye bye, deputy.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, she is Fremen, so. Yeah. As Bond would say, he got the point. Yeah. I am declaring myself officially well. Okay. It's just for sissies. Yeah. Yeah. This Lethal Weapon prequel is not what I was expecting. We're at 1 hour, 44 minutes, 30 seconds. Do want to remind everyone that due to YouTube guidelines, we cannot show you the film live. You'll have to join us on Cosme, or if you're catching this later on, with your own physical copy. And I'm sure this movie's probably on streaming somewhere. It's not in the public domain yet. Maybe someday. He's rolling his eyes like he's not even mad, just disappointed. Deputies are catching it even on the easy jobs. Yeah. Yeah, you better run. Bye, Red.
Nice. Fell off its horse.
Now that is actually the one cut scene that I have seen. It was that whole bit where he fakes his death. Kendrick gets away.
Playing dead.
And hey, they get that horse back. Me, he cleared it.
He got his horse back.
Stormtrooper aim enabled.
Now, I think when everybody sees this movie the first time, they think they think that this set here is gonna get it, but it doesn't. At least not that you see.
I love this. The third act of this film is so great.
Yeah,
so great. It's one of those classic, unforgettable showdowns in the third act. Really, our carnage count is up to 32. Damn.
Yep.
that's a hell of a body count.
Get the women folk covered. You and your little 2-shot Derringer.
I didn't know who. When I saw this, I didn't know who Costner was. So
Yeah.
I totally forgot that I seen him in was it Breaking Away or some movie where he
Um,
was rode a 10 speed.
American Flyers. Yeah,
Yeah, I
another
seen him in
that's a good one. Yeah.
I seen him in American Flyers, but that was '84, right?
Around then, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I did see him. But no, he did another one that was where he was. Maybe I'm thinking about Fandango or something.
Fandango, he was in that, yeah. With Judd Nelson. That was kind of a breaking away ish style movie. Yeah. And the guy who played the store owner that Peyton gets the gun from, he was in Fandango as well. He's the crazy pilot guy they run into. Michael Bean. Nope, still Jeff Fahey.
I love that.
Mal versus Malcolm. Who will be the winner? Oh,
Looking for this. You need to add three more bodies to the tally.
yes, I do. Of course, we get boss fight number one here. Actually, technically, you get four boss fights, really.
Right. Ouch.
Now, here's a visual that maybe people don't pick up on upon first viewing. Now, you have the town and literally a church behind Payton. What's behind Cobb? Nothing. Nice visual.
Yeah.
When? Sorry. Well, now. The sequel we never got. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good because this is good as a one-off.
Yeah, it is.
Some films just need to be one-offs.
Now, this is something that if you notice reading the credits, you might not have picked up on. Swamp Thing and Jason are in this movie.
Who?
All right. Dick Durock, who played Swamp Thing, he was one of the guys who was fighting Mal in the bar when we were first introduced to him. And the fellow who plays Hoyt, the guy with the eye patch, is Ted White. And he was Jason in one of the Friday the 13th movies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, this month I'll be celebrating my birthday later this month. So I'm dubbing September my favorite westerns month, and I only wish there was maybe 2 or 3 extra Sundays this month, but there's not. So I've already picked out some of my most favorite westerns to round out. So as we said, next week we are doing the 50-year anniversary to Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
And then the weeks to come after, we will be my other 2 favorites that are going to be doing this month on the 15th. We'll be doing the Wild Bunch. It will be replaying the Wild Bunch. And on the 22nd, I'm going to do the Outlaw Josie Wales again. And then on the 29th, my actual birthday, we will be revisiting The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That is one of my all-time favorite westerns. So
Yeah.
we do hope you'll join us for those days.
Shall we consult the scrolls?
Yes, absolutely.
And of course, by scrolls, I do mean IMDb Pro. Silverado was released July 10th, 1985, at an estimated budget of $26 million, going on to make $32 million worldwide. It was nominated for 2 Academy Awards for Best Sound and Musical Score by Bruce Broughton. At the Venice Film Festival, it won the Young Venice Award, special mention to Lawrence Kasdan, the director of the film and co-writer. Was nominated for the Artios Award at the Casting Society of America, Best Casting for a Feature Film Drama for Wally Nocita. And was nominated at the International Film and Music Critics Award for Best New Release, Re-Release, or Re-Recording of an Existing Score in 2005. All right. Moving on to filming locations. Bonanza Creek Ranch, 15 Bonanza Creek Lane, Santa Fe, New Mexico. The Sierra Palone Movie Ranch, 5547 Highway 41, Gallisto, New Mexico. The J.W. Eves Movie Ranch, 75 Rancho Alegre Road, also in Santa Fe. Ghost Ranch, Los Alamos for the opening scene. Okay, interesting choice. Nambe, Santa Ana Pueblo. This is all New Mexico, folks. Tent Rocks, White Rock Overlook, Black Mesa, and White Rock. And there's another place, but I can't pronounce it because there are too many I's, Q's, and U's. So we're moving on. All right. On to trivia. As soon as the page boots up, here we go.
Hey, Big
All right.
Al. Good to see you, pal.
Hello, Al. And hello to JPRPH1 as well.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting on to the trivia. Earl Hindman played Wilson on Home Improvement, where the lower half of his face was always obscured. In the scene where the house is on fire, he appears gagged, and the lower half of his face is obscured. Kevin Costner was offered the role of Jake by Lawrence Kasdan in Part 2 makeup for his role in The Big Chill being cut out of that film. This is a very standard thing in Hollywood. An actor gets passed over for one project, so the director brings him back for another. The set for Silverado was built for this movie and has since been used in movies such as Young Guns, Kevin Costner's Wyatt Earp, also directed by Lawrence Kasdan, Last Man Standing, Lonesome Dove, All the Pretty Horses, The Wild Wild West, starring Kevin Kline. In the latter films, a reference to co-writer and director Lawrence Kasdan. Kasdan Ironworks can be seen on the side of one of the buildings. This was the debut theatrical feature film of Richard Jenkins, who we brought up earlier, played Kelly, and of course we've seen previously in Bone Tomahawk. Lawrence Kasdan cast two of his children and his wife in small roles in the film. His brother and co-writer Mark Kasdan also had a small role as a doctor that was filmed, but ended up on the cutting room floor. John Cleese's first line, "Let's solve this then," this is a Monty Python in-joke, as that line was often uttered by policemen upon entering the scene of a crime on Monty Python's Flying Circus. In the scene where Augie tries to jump on Jake's horse and falls to the ground, the horse is wearing Jake's hat. This was Costner's idea just before the cameras rolled to keep up his character's goofy nature. Kasdan loved the idea, and it stayed in the film. In keeping with his English character, Sheriff John Langston, is played by John Cleese of Turley, is armed with an English Enfield Mark II double-action revolver. Although correct for the time period of the movie, Silverado apparently marked the only appearance of this weapon in an American Western film. When Payton is in his long red underwear talking with Cobb, Deputy Kyle comes up and spits tobacco on the ground between Klein's legs. The spitting and the look at the two men exchange is all improvised. May Kasdan said that when she, the barmaid in the scene where Mal comes in to get a drink in the bed, and her two sons who play young kids, who each had one line, like their mother, appear briefly in the film and also in The Big Chill. It was their way of sending a postcard to friends and family to show them how they were doing. The film was nominated for Academy Awards for Best Sound and Best Original Score, but failed to win in either category. The second of 6 cinema movie collaborations as of September 2015 of Kevin Kline and Lawrence Kasdan. The films include Silverado Grand Canyon, another movie I highly recommend. Also has Danny Glover in it.
Yeah.
French Kiss, The Big Chill, Darling Companion, I haven't even heard of. I'll have to check that out. And I Love You to Death, which is a fucking hilarious movie that we're going to have to maybe do at some point.
Yeah.
All right. Principal photography ran for approximately 96 days. This was the first Western of Kevin Costner, who would later go on to star in Wyatt Earp, Open Range, and his Best Picture Oscar-winning film, Dances with Wolves, which won 7 Academy Awards in total. The cast included 1 actor and 1 actress who have won Best Supporting Acting Academy Awards: Kevin Kline for A Fish Called Wanda and Linda Hunt for The Year of Living Dangerously. 3 of the lead actors had previously been cast in Lawrence Kasdan's earlier film, The Big Chill, they being Kevin Kline, Jeff Goldblum, and Kevin Costner. However, all of the latter scenes all got deleted, so only 2 of them appeared in the final cut of the film. But all 3 appear in this movie. Patricia Gall appeared in both pictures in minor roles. Despite the notorious financial and critical failure of the epic Western Heaven's Gate, within 5 years, Hollywood had produced a new mini-cycle of Westerns. In 1985, in addition to this film, there was Pale Rider, Lust into Dust, and Rustler's Rhapsody, and Three Amigos followed the next year. The movie's closing credits declared that the picture was filmed entirely on location in New Mexico. This was the debut theatrical feature film of Jeff Fahey. So if we don't recall and seeing him in anything else beforehand, you were right, because this was his first movie. Moving on. Principal photography began on November 26, 1984, after 4 weeks of rehearsals. With a cast and crew of 264, this film was scheduled to shoot for only 66 days, entirely on location in and around Santa Fe, New Mexico, it being the oldest capital and second oldest continuously inhabited city in the United States of America. Cook Ranch, 25 miles from the heart of the my tongue is numb. I can't. Moving on. Cook Ranch, 25 miles from the start of from the. I will get through this.
Boy.
I will get through this. Okay. Cook Ranch, 25 miles from the heart of Santa Fe, New Mexico, served as the site for the town of Silverado. Production designer Ida Random and set designers William A. Elliott, Chaz Butcher, and Richard McKenzie had the challenging task of completely creating the 40-building Western town. From a vast body of historical reference, Random and her team and a construction crew of 140 designed and built such structures as the Midnight Star Saloon, a hotel, and a church. Construction coordinator Clarence Lynn Price and his able crew completed the town in 12 weeks in less than desirable conditions, below freezing temperatures and winds as high as 60 miles per hour. Eve's Ranch, aka the Eve's Movie Ranch, used for the filming of such features as the Cheyenne Social Club, Butch and Sundance, The Early Days, A Gunfight, and Red Sky at Morning, was transformed into the Mexican village and cavalry outpost at Chimayo. The town of Turley, through which all 4 of the film's heroes pass, was also constructed on the Eve's Ranch. Remnants of past film sets were restored, along with the complete construction of 8 additional buildings to create an authentic 1880s setting. Tent Rocks, the Pecos River, and Ghost Ranch offered the varied terrain such as desert, meadows, and rocky inclines necessary for some of the film's more panoramic shots created by director of photography John Bailey. The Rio Grande River and the Tesuque and Nambe areas pardon me if I got those wrong, were the settings of some of the film's action-packed chases. Responsible for the film's more than 100 horses, 500 cattle, pigs, chickens, and other assorted animals, all necessary to create a real atmosphere, were livestock coordinator Corky Randall and his wranglers. Randall and stunt coordinator Jerry Gatlin spent 4 weeks with the stars instructing them on the art of riding. With a cast of 54 plus 500 extras, the enormous task of designing and preparing costumes fell to costume designer Christy Zaya and her staff of 4. Through extensive research and conferences with Lawrence Kasdan, Zaya and her team created distinctly different silhouettes, especially for the 4 heroes, to make them instantly identifiable on screen. Following completion of principal photography, Carol Littleton and Lawrence Kasdan moved to Los Angeles to complete post-production. The first of 2 westerns directed by Lawrence Kasdan, whose second would be Wyatt Earp, both movies starring Kevin Costner. The Midnight Star Saloon was purchased sometime around 2001 and moved to Melody Ranch Studio in California, where it can be seen in its western town. Most of Rosanna Arquette's scenes apparently ended up on the cutting room floor, including what was implied as a romance with Payton. She still received high billing in the opening credits. This is the 3rd theatrical feature film directed by Lawrence Kasdan, and one of numerous collaborations between Kasdan and editor Carol Littleton. This movie features a natural landscape environment as a key setting, which has been the trademark of Lawrence Kasdan written and or directed movies such as this movie, Wyatt Earp, Companion, Grand Canyon, Continental Divide, and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
The first of 3 films to co-star Kevin Kline and John Cleese. They would work together in A Fish Called Wanda in 1988 and Fierce Creatures in 1997. Interestingly, too, John Cleese took over Kevin Kline's role as the police commissioner in Steve Martin's Pink Panther films. Mal and his father Ezra are known for their prowess with the Henry rifle. While the weapon carried by Ezra is an authentic Henry rifle, the rifle used by Mal is actually an 1866 Winchester rifle modified to look like a Henry. This is most obvious from the loading gate on the right side of the brass receiver, a feature the earlier Henry rifle lacked. Pepe Serna and James Gammon appeared in The Ballad of Gregorio Cortez in 1982 and Conager in 1991. 2 movies we should consider for the show. Especially Conager, that's a good one. Sam Elliott's in it.
Yeah.
After working with Kevin Kline on this film, John Cleese wrote A Fish Called Wanda and a role of Otto specifically with Kline in mind. In Sheriff Langford's office is a framed picture of Queen Victoria. It's evident as Payton and Jake emerge from the office door in the morning. The LucasArts PC video game Outlaws from 1997 had game levels based on the town of Silverado, including a ramp featured in an important scene. Scott Glenn and Kevin Costner got along great during the film. Glenn used to kid Costner by calling out to him, "Hey, movie star," as at that point Costner was little known and had yet to reach a star status. At one point, Emmett rides the ramp into a warehouse. This is the same warehouse and ramp seen in Lonesome Dove when the captain purchases some empty water barrels. Immediately before Sheriff Langston is summoned because the gallows are on fire, he is playing chess with himself using a set identical to the iconic Lewis chessmen, which were discovered in 1831 on the Isle of Lewis, west of Scotland. They are made of walrus ivory and are thought to date to the 7th century and are in the collection of the British Museum. When Payton, Emmett, and Jake escape Sheriff Langston, Jake says, "Come on, let's go." If you look closely, you'll see that Costner's lips aren't moving. The line was added afterwards. Scott Glenn and Jeff Goldblum previously starred in The Right Stuff. Also, and we brought this up during the film, Marvin J. McIntyre and Kevin Costner starred in Fandango, which was also released in 1985. Okay. This next one is a bit of a long one, but I'll make it quick. I also want to say hello to Lady Mist, Daniel's Hot Topics, and Big Daddy O. John B. Hello to everybody. All right. 80s B movie cult actress Betsy Russell said in an interview that the producers wanted her to audition for this film, but she passed on it. Now it's one of her biggest regrets because she felt that it may have changed her career. I was a favorite of a casting director named Wally Nacita, she said, and she eventually became a producer. She was a big fan. She was a big fan of mine after private school, and there was a film coming up called Silverado. I was shooting Avenging Angel at the time, and I had an audition. It was a night shoot, and I was very tired, and I really didn't understand the ins and outs of the business. I relied more on my manager to take care of that, and he was learning too as we went along. So they called me at the audition for Silverado, and I didn't pay attention to who had been cast in it. I just looked at it as an ensemble piece. And the other movie I was auditioning for was a ski movie in which I would be the star. I just said, let's go with the bigger part. As luck would have it, the audition was in the same building as Wally Nacita's office. And she kept saying how much the director and producers of Silverado would love to see me. I told her no. I was here for the other audition. She looked at me like I was the stupidest person on the planet and never contacted me for anything again. All right. Sometimes you got to take the smaller part, people. There you go. Lesson learned. In the scene where hold on. Okay, that's in here twice. Moving on. When Cobb said this used to be a peaceful town, it echoes what Sheriff Teasel says in First Blood. This is a quiet town. Cobb and Teasel, both played by Brian Dennehy. Originally, all right. We almost got a very different movie. All right. Kevin Kline was always intended to be Peyton, but Emmett was almost played by Gene Hackman, and Robert De Niro almost played Jake. Okay. The young nephew of Jake and Emmett is named Augie. This was a suggestion of Kevin Costner as an homage to Augie Garrido, the manager of the multiple national championship winning California State University Fullerton baseball team, Kevin Costner's alma mater. This is the first of two movies in which Kevin Kline delivers the line, I've had some experience with this, the second being the movie Dave, 1993. Included among the American Film Institute's 2005 list of 250 movies nominated for AFI's 100 Years of Film Scores. Of these two Western movies, first released in the year 1985, Silverado and Rustler's Rhapsody, Arvo Ojala worked on both of these Westerns as a gun coach and technical advisor. There are 6 Kasdans involved with this movie. In many of the outdoor scenes, the actors are using the chin string to secure their hats to their heads. This is something that was done in the Old West, but very rarely seen in a Western film. This was because of the strong winds they experienced during filming. Some gusts were said to be close to 60 miles per hour. Okay. Lawrence Kasdan also wrote Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Brian Dennehy's daughter, Elizabeth Dennehy, appeared in the Star Trek Next Generation episode, The Best of Both Worlds. Why that's all one paragraph, I have no idea. Two different ideas. Get it together, IMDb. Okay. Scott Glenn and Jeff Goldblum previously appeared together in The Right Stuff. Director Philip Kaufman is credited with the idea of Indy going after the Ark of the Covenant in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which Lawrence Kasdan wrote. Goldblum also worked with Steven Spielberg on Jurassic Park, as did Danny Glover in The Color Purple. Oddly, Kevin Bacon in none of those films. No? Okay, moving on. Trying to be funny, folks. The fourth and final collaboration between Danny Glover and actor Jim Haney. They previously acted together in Escape from Alcatraz, 1979, Choo Choo and the Philly Flash, 1981, which was a baseball movie, and Out in 1982, which I think was about prison parolees. Told you, my head is filled with useless knowledge. At the Cavalry Post, a sign reads 5th Cavalry Regiment, J.B. McClellan. This appears to be a reference to George Fenton McClellan, who was the commander of the Union Army of the Potomac during the American Civil War. However, he was removed from command in November of 1862 and never held another military command. The theme music is eerily similar to the theme music of The Train Robbers in 1973. In the final scene...
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay. All right. Where were we? Spoiler, in the final scene, Cobb is standing in front of the desert, which looks like an abyss. Hayden is standing in front of the church. Classic good versus evil metaphors, varying from the Norman Westerns. The good guy, Hayden, wears a black hat, and the good guy, Cobb, wears a white hat. Spoiler, body count 33. I think it was slightly more than that, but anyway. Hi. If Silverado had happened in real life as depicted, we would still be talking about that final shootout to this day. If that happened, because the thing that you have, going off on a tangent for a second, the thing you have to understand about a lot of Old West shootouts, it was usually mostly duels. It would be, one guy will shoot another, and that's pretty much it. Whenever you have something happen like the gunfight at the OK Corral, or the Northfield, Minnesota raid where the younger gang got caught, we're still talking about those today because those were outliers. You're talking multiple people dead and wounded, not just two random guys, getting into a scrap, So if Silverado and a lot of what gets, or like the shootout at the end of Open Range, for example, if that had actually happened, to this day, they would be talking about those shootouts, much as they do with OK Corral and Northfield. All right, moving on. Okay, here's something we did bring up. The planned sequel, as reflected in the film's final line, never materialized due to the failure of this film at the box office. Believe it or not, Silverado was not a big hit. Westerns were kind of considered dead at that point, but then, after Silverado, there was this kind of whole slew of Westerns, some of which we've brought up here. All right. All right. And here's something else that is I question, but I'm going to read it off the way that IMDb is wording it. And this is the last one. So many fans swear that the scene of Jake falling off the horse to fake his death was shown in some versions. The scene was never filmed. When Augie told Emmett how Jake was supposed to have died, it was the first time it was mentioned. It was left purposely ambiguous what had happened to Jake. Yet, I swear, I have seen that scene somewhere. So I don't know. I'm not saying it was in the film. I was saying that I have seen it as a deleted scene somewhere. But who knows? Maybe it's a Mandela effect thing working on me. Anyway, that is it from the trivia from IMDb Pro. The scrolls are closed.
Okay. So I mentioned the itinerary for the rest of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. In case you want to mark your calendars, mark the date. Yes. Too bad there's not like maybe 3 more extra Sundays in the month of September. Sadly, we only get 4 more, so we're doing next week, of course, Blazing Saddles, and then the director's cut. Then the week after, we'll do the Wild Bunch, the director's cut, Sam Peckinpah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Outlaw Josie Wales replay and the Good, the Bad, the Ugly. That didn't go well the very first time. We had trouble with it. I don't think we'll have trouble with it this time. Hope.
And the Outlaw Josie Wales is my favorite Clint Eastwood Western. And I missed it when Bill did that show the first time around, because unfortunately I was working some Sundays at that point, so I was not in every show. But now, hey, I am glad to be here for the show. And this is something that Curtis brought up on another program, but we're going to address it. Mandela Effect. I would have sworn that Warner Klemperer wrote the novel Homeland when he actually just read the audiobook. Yeah, that's true. He did. And Homeland, for anybody who's not familiar with it, was it Homeland or was it Fatherland? Remind me, Curtis. Anyway, what that particular book is about, it's written by a guy named Robert Harris, and it's about what would have happened if the U.S. had never entered World War II and the Germans won. And Germany becomes the superpower. And so the Cold War is basically not the U.S. against the Soviet Union, it's against Germany. And there was a film version of it that has Rutger Hauer in it. I didn't see it, but I understand it's really good. But Warner Klemperer, who of course is famous for playing Colonel Clank in Hogan's Heroes, Hogan, that guy. Shortly before he died, he read the audio version of this book, and it was Fatherland. Yeah, so Fatherland, written by Robert Harris, audio version read by Warner Klemperer, film version starring Rutger Hauer. So look into that. So yeah. Sorry, I just that was from another show. I wanted to address that real quick. All right.
No worries. Well,
alrighty.
I guess that concludes the skulls are closed, and so it will be an exciting September. We hope you can come back and join us or drop by. So, I will say these parting words. Always remember to be excellent to each other. Always party on. And we can't wait to see you on the next one. All right, deleted scenes.
All right. Well, I will be returning in just over an hour over on my channel for this week's episode of Unscripted. Episode 77, entitled The Sword They Knight You With. And this is going to be a bit of a different episode. It's going to be a monologue. There's not going to be a Q&A or a What's on Myself segment. The show's probably at most going to be about 20 minutes. And I've got some things I kind of want to get off my chest. And this episode's going to clear the air on some things. And I do a little self-evaluation myself. So it's going to be an episode that in part is going to be me critiquing me. And some concerns I have over some things I've been seeing over the last few weeks. But it's going to be... I'm going to delve into some heavy subject matter. But there's a point, which I will make clear during the program. But it's going to be a short one. Join me there. Of course, head on over to 9 o'clock over on Aged Boomer's channel will be Geeky Geezers, where he and Troy Pacelli will be discussing the events of the week. And right after they're done, get yourself a nice cold beverage, little midnight snack, and join me for the other side of midnight at 12:05 a.m. Eastern, 11:05 Central. As of yet to be determined panel of guests will be joining me for that show. Tomorrow, I'm going to be joining Troy Pacelli and Netters Network for a Last Call Monday Night at the Movies. And we are going to be watching Cliffhanger and Last Action Hero, both from 1993. Cliffhanger with Stallone and Last Action Hero with Schwarzenegger. So some old school action right there. Of course, also Tuesday, Troy and Netter and Aged Boomer are going to be joining me once again for live from Sparkwood in 21, our Twin Peaks retrospective film. Retrospective series, not a film. It's more than one episode. Okay, it's a series. Pretty sure it's a series. Okay, and that will be at Tuesday at 8:30. We will be watching episode 10 of season 3. And let's see. Of course, join me and Bill once again for Action Theater Thursday at 4:30. And we are going to be watching Goldfinger. Sean Connery is 007. And let's see, of course, my weekend update program, which will be tentatively scheduled for 11:30, where you will get to see what I'm going to be doing the next week. I do want to once again thank everyone who joined us in Cosme and in the chat. And as I always say at the end of every show, from HQ, our second home office in Arizona and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe, because this is how we win. Yeah.